welcome back to the Apartment Geek Weekly. I'm your host, Chris Robinson, and very excited to have a friend and colleague, if you could say, Andrew Feghali, with us today. And I met Andrew, I want to say this was about a year ago, and I was very grateful to this day to be invited to a executive group forum here in San Diego that Andrew helps lead, and really interesting. I call it group therapy for business leaders, executives, and the more I thought about this episode of what we can talk about this week, I see so much value in human connection, and peer groups was a way to describe kind of generally encompassing what we're doing, whether it's meeting for business or meeting for a social desire, just getting humans to come together in a world of digital, where so much is digital and we're on our phones. And frankly, this morning I was thinking about it, it's such a side, we're so solo and independent with the focus on the phones and what we're watching and seeing. So very happy to have you, Andrew. Stoked to see you. And so Andrew comes from, and I've always respected you for your dedication to your education, and we're both entrepreneurs. So multifamily apartments, and you are restaurant franchisee, owner, operator in where you have various sites.
Right. Multi-state, multi-locations.
Multi-state, which is interesting because you're doing the business side of it, where a lot of our apartment clients sell multifamily and they go into single tenant, triple net, where they're on the real estate end with somebody like you as maybe a tenant paying the rent. So, and you got a master's in executive leadership.
Yeah, kind of like USD, University of San Diego's take on an executive MBA.
Got it.
It's like a 22-month program with people. It was people with 15 years or more experience, VPs of companies, etc.
Okay.
And then they let me in, though. I didn't have the experience, but the tenure.
Yeah.
But they felt like since I was running a company that I would be a good fit.
Good for you. So yeah, that's impressive. And now, can you in a nutshell kind of explain what you're doing, which I love the ring of it, the tone of it.
Which is what?
Your current, what you're going for now.
The PhD?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm doing the PhD in leadership studies, focusing on organizational leadership. And then because of my work with the peer groups, the CEO peer groups, I decided to focus my research on CEO peer advisory groups. So it's kind of they call it, there's not a lot of research on it, but in the articles you find, they call it like a secret world.
Yeah.
The secret world of CEO peer groups.
Love that.
So it's I'm just kind of digging and uncovering what exactly this is and trying to really quantify what the benefits are.
Okay.
It's never been done before.
Interesting. How long is the PhD program?
So
when do you expect it?
Typically it's 4 to 6 years. And because I'm going at it more part-time than most, it'll take me maybe 6 to 8.
Got it.
To get it all done.
Yeah, what a neat thing to do kind of for purpose and stuff. Though.
Yeah, it's more of a bucket list thing, to be honest. My dad had his PhD,
and
my parents were college professors. I always thought, man, it would be really nice one day to, have that kind of lifestyle and give back and just try to teach others everything I've learned over a lifetime.
I love it. So there's a lot of peer groups in town. I mean, we've got Sage, which is the one that we're involved in, the one that you help lead, which has a lot of different groups, forums. There's EO, there's YPO, and somebody was mentioning actually an event I'm going to go to in a couple weeks, the one up on Miramar Road, the Vault.
Yeah, I'm putting on that event.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know that.
Well, that's a motor club that has a social component of it.
Yeah.
So maybe real quick what I'll do is I'll explain what CEO peer groups are.
Okay.
And so they're organizations, sometimes for-profit, sometimes non-profit, where executives meet on a regular cadence. Typically it's once a month for a half a day, and they come together as a forum, 10 to 12 CEOs. Typically it's similar size companies, and kind of your analogy of group therapy is close.
Yeah.
And depending on the organization, they help each other problem solve the business challenges of today.
Yeah.
In a highly confidential setting.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, in the world, there's kind of the big three. There's EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. There's YPO, the President's Organization. And then there's Vistage, which is actually headquartered here in San Diego, but has over 100,000 members maybe. So each one of these have probably 80 to 100,000 members worldwide.
Got it.
Large presences. Now there's also local regional ones, like Sage operates in San Diego and Orange County.
Yeah.
Several examples like that.
Okay, good stuff. So benefits of peer groups. I mean, problem solving. And if I may interject one thing, I've always looked at it as a way to think bigger and come to the table with an idea maybe, and then get support. Or I always like synergy, 1 + 1 = 3, where people say, well, what about looking at it this way? Or I just think it's really valuable to get out of your comfort zone.
That's absolutely right. I mean, if anything, sometimes you go with a specific issue that you need help with, or something you need to talk about that you want to process. But sometimes it's just an opportunity for reflection. Yeah. Or you hear about what other people are talking about. I mean, that's one of the most valuable benefits that I've incurred. It's like you said, thinking bigger. Yeah. Right? Because I, grew up in my industry and thought what I know is what I know. Mm-hmm. I didn't know there was this whole other world out there. Mm-hmm. And so kind of being in the forum I was kind of the baby, right? Some of the companies in my forum, 50+ million in revenue. Yeah. And I just realized, wait, I can do that too. Yeah. Right? We all have 12 hours in a day to work, right? Yeah. I mean, everyone can get the same amount done in a day as long as you're applying yourself. So it really did it was this catalyst for me to say, wait, I can do this. I can build this big company, and I have a core group of people behind me supporting me, serving as kind of my advisors. Yeah. So I love that. There's a saying that I connect with, which is you're the king of your own castle. Mm-hmm. Like if you're in your office or your circle, so to speak, you can become the brightest, most intelligent person in the room. Not saying that's the case here, but it's real easy for that to happen. So when you go to these different groups, it's neat because you're really putting yourself in a new pool of talent, successful people that are doing huge things, right? Or making tons of money, right? Whatever it is. Or it's not always about the money too. So sure. Actually, kind of some. Because as I'm doing my research, I'm trying to figure out what are the benefits of peer groups. It hasn't been studied before, but then you can kind of intuitively think, okay, maybe networking is a benefit. Yeah. So then there's actually a lot of research on networking. One of the funny kind of things that came out of it, well, not funny, but amazing, is that better network CEOs give more. They're more philanthropic and kind of just generous to social causes. Yeah. And I see that in Sage too, where we have a lot of nonprofit activity and a lot of our members love to give back to the community. Yeah. So that's a great outcome of it as well. Gosh, a win-win. But kind of here's one that maybe some of your viewers will like, is that there's some science out of actually UC San Diego that says better network CEOs make more money. And so actually they quantified it. They did a study of 2,700 publicly traded CEOs, and they found that per additional connection in their network, you make $17,000. Yeah, so CEOs for every additional person in their network made $17,000. Wow. So the data was pretty clear that the better. Now look, they had a couple criteria on the network. Can't just be anyone. Has to be someone considered meaningful, which is someone that can add value to your industry, or someone that's kind of exclusive or excludable is the word they use. Interesting. But I definitely think that peer groups help you build your network in kind of like a non-sleazy like business card, right? I joined a chamber of commerce once, and I couldn't do it. Yeah. So just business cards, right? There was no connection. Yep. And really, if you think about it, and there's some research on this, they call it executive isolation, where the title of one article is "It's Lonely at the Top." Yeah. And you think about entrepreneurs out of college that don't have maybe the community of their job or their workplace, gets really hard to build relationships out of college.
Yeah.
Right. And I was always envious of my friends that worked for the cool companies, Google and whatever, and they had, happy hours and friends from work and whatever. And meanwhile, I was out here building my business, probably similar to you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, how do you build relationships? How do you build deep relationships after college? It's kind of difficult.
Nobody taught me that in high school or college.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it hit me in the face like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, I'm in San Diego, this new city, starting this business, and I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
How do I start over?
Yeah.
And I wish I was introduced to this world, because it is kind of an exclusive world. And I should add, there's a sticker to it. It's not cheap to be a part of these peer groups. They do cost money.
Yeah. Wow.
But in my opinion, the ROI is there.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, tenfold, hundredfold. And the philanthropic purpose, that's real. Because Chuck from Sage, Chuck's one of the managerial people that helps put it together.
Yeah, he does a lot of the administrative stuff.
Chuck invited, I don't know, I think the whole group to a Emilio Nares children cancer support fundraiser this last Sunday, and I ended up going, which is the purpose for this ribbon.
Yeah, she's a Sage member, so that's one thing I liked about Sage, and this isn't a plug for Sage or whatever, but they scholarship one nonprofit per forum.
I didn't even know that. Yeah. But it worked because my buddy Sean and I were there. We were kind of egging each other on with some of the stuff. Like, hey, buy that, donate this. So it works.
The other thing too is access to coaching. So I know you're big on that. I'm obviously big on kind of this whole idea of continuous learning and improvement.
Yeah.
And so I think, I know that there's research that CEOs perform better when they have better access to coaching and mentorship and guidance, which I think that's hard to find, right? How do you find a coach or a mentor, an advisor, or someone to actually, give a shit about you?
Yeah.
But as you're building these relationships with these other executives in your peer group, you have people you can go to.
Yeah.
Like we have Tom.
That's a good point. Yeah, you've got wise people who've been there and done that. You can bounce things off of. I love what you said also about the learning and improving yourself and refining yourself, because it's something that we can do our entire lives.
Right.
You can work on that till the day you die with whatever the mindset is or the context.
So one thing that was cool YPO is kind of like the master of all they have the highest kind of threshold. You have to run a pretty big company to be able to even be eligible for YPO, which stands for Young Presidents Organization.
Okay.
And so once you I can't remember what the age threshold is, but once you graduate, they graduate you into WPO, and you're in that for like the rest of your life.
Got it.
With all your buddies. So it is kind of, they've made it a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
And it works because I feel like you're a friend of mine now, and I can call you about anything, good, bad, problem, whatever. And
walk the dogs.
Yeah. I mean, we Andrew and I do a deep talk about life and business or whatever comes up, and we'll just cruise around, go for a walk along the bay or Torrey Pines.
And you don't have to feel guilty also about, we want to make money, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a taboo thing to say sometimes, is like, we're entrepreneurs and we're there to create and all that, but we also want to build wealth, and deals come out of this all the time, right? Especially in multifamily. So I can't tell you how many times I've seen or heard of multifamily deals happening. Right, it's like everyone wants to be in multifamily now, right?
Yeah, it is very.
So everyone with
all the fortunate
50,
viewers.
yeah, right. Everyone I know with $50,000, $100,000 aside is looking for somewhere to put it.
Yeah.
So
maybe not with rent restrictions for California now, but no, no, it is still an excellent place to put money. You are right.
So it is. I guess another benefit is that deals come out of it.
Yeah. So, and not just in multifamily apartments. Groups, but probably all facets.
Yeah, a lot of
doesn't matter. Restaurants or anything really. Last question for you, Andrew. This is really cool. Just this. I love the talk and the topic. Virtual conference. So I've got a business coach who's actually going to be on the episode next week. Greg Colemanzer, super good guy. We do a Zoom call once a week where we check in and we talk about business and life for an hour, basically. Video, virtual conference. can that take the place of in-person forums like what we're going to do today? We have our business forum today.
Right.
Can it take the place, or is it better or worse? I was just going to ask your 2 cents on that.
Sure. Well, let me think then. I don't know that necessarily one is a replacement for another, right? I think direct business coaching is one awesome thing, and then being in a peer group is another.
Yeah.
Right? And I think they're complementary of each other.
Yeah.
I don't know if what we do with a peer group with a forum could be done via. I mean, it could be done, but I don't know if it would be as effective via web conference. But I absolutely think coaching could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's more of a one-on-one thing.
everything's going web right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the cost of traveling and people being kind of all over the world, and I mean, it's a booming industry, right? And you see the technology. You can have kind of real-time surveys, or you can have all these different things, right? To make web conferencing or video, I should say, video conferencing more effective. So
Yeah.
I mean, I do Zoom calls all the time, and like I run stores in Texas and in Colorado, and
Yeah.
can't be there in the flesh. So
Better than just maybe a traditional.
it's absolutely
phone call.
well, yeah. I mean, the cues when you're talking to someone, you see in their face and kind of their response and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, I prefer video conferencing well over a phone call or even an email or
Sure.
text.
Yeah.
And I think it could be completely effective with one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
But have you done like an online class before?
Where there's a video, where there's a virtual, I haven't.
It's hard.
I'm a
man.
little
It's
older.
hard. Like the instructor has to be really talented.
Yeah.
And have, I think people lose their attention span 2-3 minutes in. Right. So you have to be like really engaging and So.
And frankly, if you're doing a video virtual conference, you're right. It's so much easier to get distracted because the dog can bark or whatever happens, and it's easier for you to disengage.
Yeah.
Where when we're in a group, it's a respectful thing to, as much as you can focus on that.
Yeah,
Unless you've got to go to the bathroom, something, but you want to stay present. And I was thinking, it gets us out of our routine to drive to a physical place with peers, social, cars, surfing, whatever, or business, to talk about progress.
Yeah, look, I look forward
Gets
to
you out of
it,
your
right?
routine.
I mean, I'm working by myself most of the day.
Yeah.
Either out of my office or out of my place, and I look forward to going there, seeing people who become my friends, my peers.
Yeah.
And maybe hanging out with them before or after or whatever. But I think there's definitely a convenience factor to video conferencing for one-on-one coaching. You probably see that, right? It's instead of having to worry about driving and meeting somewhere and from wherever you are, you can hop on a Zoom call and the accountability is probably for more frequent check-ins.
Yeah, it boosts up the level of kind of commitment and focus.
A lot of this stuff is just about accountability, right? So with the coaching, if you do it weekly, or
that's weekly.
Yeah. So
Tuesday.
that'd be hard to meet in person, right? I'd assume.
Yep.
But once you're doing everything, what people don't really understand is you don't get all your takeaways out of one meeting or session, right? There's like kind of an exponential growth component to where you look back and it's been a year or 2 years and you're like, oh shit, I've learned a ton, cumulatively.
Yeah, it's huge. And a lot of stuff, it's so organic. You can't plan for that, or you would never expect it. Well, Andrew Feghali, I'm happy you came on here and talked about something, human connection and getting together, and it's such a neat thing that if we can do that through our entire lives, I just think the fruits of that are huge. As opposed to just trying to do it yourself.
Right. No, and that's what you're doing here too for your audience. So keep up the good work.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Andrew. So thanks again for coming on, and happy investing until next time. Let us know if you like these videos, obviously on the YouTube, and reach out to me if there's anything specifically that you'd like to hear more about. And thanks for tuning in.